Oh, hello YouTube. Oh, well, you guessed it. It's another GE. This one's a bit of a basket case, so this is the one that had the security alarm fitted to the top, so it's got a wire drilled into the board. It goes through that into the middle of the board. We've got all this janky stuff here with body filler, putty, and it's on top of the test points it's been bonded to, and so far I can see a resistor, a transistor, and then we've got some channel mods here and a resistor. Okay, so no original wiring on the high-low switch, and no original wiring left on the NB A and L switch. It looks like the CBPA hasn't been touched. Right. That's what we're dealing with from under the board. My suspicion is that's the NB noise blinker. One of the caps has been replaced at some point, but a long time ago. It's still a 16 volt. And it's a 40 channel clicker. This was just working. And it's also got a slider, so I'll remove that resistor and put the original one back in. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. I forgot to put it on pause. Track's cut here. Need to join that. Need to tidy this up. Need to remove this blob. Removed all of the other resistors and hokey pokey stuff. Remove that big resistor. Just tentatively put this one back in again. Okay, so that's what I've pulled off. Here's the C710, two resistors, and something else in there somewhere. Okay, where are we at? Right, I've cleaned up this area, removed all of the solder, put a chip holder in. Now I've got to connect these 3 pins here to here. So I'm going to remove some of the board protector here, and I'm going to run a copper track from here across to this pad and under here and solder it. Then seal it and put board lacquer on it and paint it green. Okay, I've removed the remove the board protector from this little area here. I'm going to tin this, and I'm going to create a track that goes down, meets with these 2 pins and goes back, and I'll solder that pin to it through the hole in the track I create, and then solder the track to here. And this is the track copper I've got. I'll need to trim that to size. Okay, the copper track's been made here. And what I'm going to do is just trim the inside edge there, so there's absolutely no question of interference. So I'll just do that now. Okay, all done. I'm going to put this into perspective. This is a pinhead cutter, Have a look at the little piece that I trimmed off just to make this perfect. See that? Alright, so that's a repaired track. I now need to add solder. Okay, that track is now fixed. Okay, it's just a lot of reflection off the pad. This is not the knife I was using. Just get the better knife in here. Alright, so you can see how sharp that tip is. Alright, so that's now a proper electrical connection. What I'm going to do, I've now sealed this off, and I'm going to spray lacquer on top of this to just lock all of this away, and then I'm going to repeat the process on the top side of the board. Alright, where I left you off was in the track repair area here. Well, I've done that. And what I've done is I chose to use wire, as mentioned before. I run the wire around the terminal, both ends. I don't just solder them end to end and hope for a connection. That'll work, you know, a lot of the time, but whilst we're here, let's do it properly. So I loop it around and then terminate and cut, then solder. Alright, so those 3 tracks have been done. I removed the middle cap. Underneath it was no surprises. 1 eaten through track, which was the main track again, so jumper from here and terminated on the other pole there, and that replicates the whole path of that track through the board. I've done all the caps on the surface, just the electrolytics, PLL02A chip holders in, and this is the reason why we do it. If you remember, this was disastrous in here, so I've added copper here all the way through to here, trimmed it, and then soldered the copper track in, and then sealed with lacquer. Over here, underneath the large cap, there was a black puddle here, so I etched it back and found that the acid had started eating the surface of the copper, so I ground all of that back and ran a big solder pad here to get rid of that damage. And as you can see here, this track is missing because when I used the solder sucker, it just sucked the damaged track up. But that's fine. Curled the leg around the other component. Alright, I'll now remove that can and I'll sand that and put it back on polished. And now we move on to the other board for caps. Alright, the top side of the board. I decided to use wire on this. As you can see, from here to here, here to here, here to here, and I've sealed with, again, the board lacquer.